I'm going to do something a little not done. It's my dad's birthday today, okay? So I'm going to call him. Can all of you sing happy birthday to him? To take my call for that. Half the time he's busy. हाँ बाबा का फोन था ओके फाइन ठीक है he's not at home anyway yeah such is I actually wanted to introduce him to you guys because we're talking about the road less traveled and I wanted to go back a little in the past to talk about my dad. Uh, we come from a family of, we had our own furniture business and all that. He chose to work for a multinational company in the 1970s because he didn't want the security of family life, of a family business. He stayed in that company for 27 years, changed the job because I think that's what was, a road less traveled for him. Get out of the security zone. So now mind you, they come from that era of the license Raj and pre-lib India, where getting a sarkari naukri was comfort, state, way to travel forward. We, all of us, I'm much older than you, most of you, and we've been fortunate enough to have been born in an era where there are lots more opportunities, and we could have got any job, which, if you're reasonably competent enough, which allows you a decent pay package, an impressive CTC, and parents can tell relatives कि अरे ये तो ये करता है and but sadly or strangely enough that's not what life is. Yeah. That's what I want to tell all of you guys. I think life is primarily about happiness. It's primarily about searching for happiness. We should all do what we are really happy doing. I was not happy when I was doing my masters in economics from Delhi School. I wasn't happy when I joined. And I quit 9 months. Became a journalist. And then I realized, I obviously had a tutelage in classical music and I've been a theatre actor. But we were always looking for this entire secure blanket of an annual salary which allows us to pay our EMIs. I think two acronyms which kind of, uh, one acronym kind of kills Indian creativity, in my opinion, is the EMI. We can kind of not mortgage our future and as a trade-off, as an opportunity cost for what we really want to do, we'll be a lot happier. It may make, and that's always the trade-off between comfort and luxury. You can afford, and if you can assert in our minds. I think that's happening now. I think our generation, the 90s, because we didn't see these imported televisions and these big flat screen TVs, and we always wanted, I wish I want a bigger TV, I want a bigger car, I want all that wasn't there till early 90s. Then it all came and we always wanted that. Now everybody has it. Most of the people who have it, we see, are not very happy. Wealth is no longer a very, not a great thing. At a very micro level. It always, obviously, wealth helps in a lot more other reasons, a lot more other paths. So I'd like to say that follow your happiness here, follow your heart. That's what I did. Uh, the journey from being an economist and then I, was with Business Standard for a while. And with this television program that actually taught me in its own ways how to tell a story in 5 minutes. I was doing a program called The Week in Business for Business Standard Television, which just started. TN9 was when the editor of that. And it was interesting, tell the budget stories and figure out how, changing economic mood in the country is reflected by the sale of flat screen TVs. We were also led to believe that the Sensex is kind of an indicator of happiness. It's an indicator of happiness of a very, very small, minuscule percentile. Happiness is very individual. And then you realize that there are certain things that you are born to do. I happen to be born to tell stories. So you may be a producer, you may be a student, you may be anybody. You sit me down and tell me, Shomik, what's your next film here? I'll tell you 5 stories. I'm like a toothpaste. Okay. Quiz, kaani niklegi. And I think that's what it is. I can't do without it. That's my existence. So when your existence, this is what you need to do, this is your nervous energy, this is what is flowing out of you. When that becomes your livelihood, wonderful. It's a struggle, obviously, because in order to convince people, I mean, I still remember the time that I met Madhuri for the first time. I don't even remember if she had already planned to come back to India. The kids were kind of want to go to school and stuff. But she used to come down, television chat show. And I had the script, and I do my own songs. So I somehow got to her. I got 15 minutes, approximately the same time that I have today. And it's nerve-wracking, yeah? That point. You're up against a legend, up against a person who's not against, sitting opposite a person who's combined years of excellence, talent, and all of that put together is perhaps more than this entire auditorium right now. So again, drunk paranoid. I was in that very. I don't know how many of you have seen Sahib Bigger Gulam. Remember the time Bhutnath comes in Choti Bahu. Brother will be shot it. He doesn't raise his eyes. First see the feet, the hand. You hear the voice, and then you look up. Then you get dazzled. That was my first experience. That's the first barrier which had to be broken. Pitching a film to Madhuri. But beyond all this paraphernalia and all these things, it's the ability to tell a story. And if you can do that confidently, and if you can tell your idea across, and if it's an idea, and that's the thing, that's what we sell in Indian cinema for somebody who's not from a film family, somebody who's essentially a rank outsider, who's a Bengali who studied Hindi for 2 years of his life. I don't know how to, I don't know Hindi the way you're supposed to. But I've written this film and I've written all these dialogues and all that. So then all you have is an idea. And I think that's true with any discipline and any, path of, any career path that you decide to take. The concept of an idea which has not been heard before, a story which has not been told before. And if you have that, then nobody can stop. Having said that, it's also very, very essential. And I think I did this when I was in a very cushy job. As they say, there is no better teacher than failure. There is actually Shah Rukh Khan made this brilliant statement once. Things are never as good as they seem, and things are never as bad as they seem. I would like to go back to the first line very, very carefully. Success really pampers you. So when you get into that cushy job and the big fat salary and all of that, you're suddenly clouded by a certain sense of power that you have, a power of achievement, the power of financial ability to buy what you've always wanted and to keep people happy. It puts you in a sense of inertia. As far as creative growth is concerned, that's the worst phase you can be. Stay Hungry, Stay Foolish, I presume, is a book that most of you read. Part of the ability to stay dissatisfied, the ability to answer stupid questions. I think that's the key. If you can do that, I've always done that. I've always asked various people, my seniors, the most stupid questions, questioned authority, questioned paradigms, questioned all these things. And if you can do that, I think it's good. It's difficult, when I'll come back to this film because, they mentioned it in the introduction about the film being something which is really radical. You've never seen an action film with 2 female actors. I'll tell you incidents that I've had to hear at various levels. I pitched the film and people ask me, okay, fair enough, Madhuri and Juhi, hero kaun hai? It is so unfortunate that we as a country believe that hero is masculine. We all talk about women empowerment. Who the hell is empowering them, man? Man is empowering women. What nonsense. You know, women are the most superior race. Aren't we all okay with that? I mean, come on. You know, and we are empowering women. So whatever. And then, of course, you live in an industry, the Bombay film industry, where a film like this, where both the protagonist and the antagonist happen to be women, has not happened before. I mean, correct me if I'm wrong. So that is the challenge that you go and take forward. And had it not been a Madhuri Dixit, the film would not have happened, because you need somebody with, you know, that kind of status. And then you've had these other sections of stories, other sections of challenges which come to you. Oh, you do your own music. Why? What do you mean why? My film, my story, I'll tell the music. I'm a trained musician, I'm a classical musician, I play the sarod. Now, but you don't have Yo-Yo Honey Singh type of sound, no? So then what do you do? What do you... Because you can't really influence taste, you know. I mean, the problem is the fact that we have this herded idea of quality. So if something works, we chase that rather than, okay, this has worked, now let's do something which has never happened. Because differentiation as palette is what essentially defines breaking the clutter. For people like us, I presume all of us who will at some point of time enter a world where we'll be alien. That's what we are trying to do, right? Break the clutter. Be it students, be it at various stages of life. You know, we are not walking. The world is not our family business. You know, that's a great thing about it. So that we can change the rules of it. And that can only happen when you take the path less traveled, because the path which is more often traveled is anyway too much of competition. I didn't want to study so much. I just, as I said, 2 most unproductive years of my life were at Delhi School of Economics. I hated economics. Seriously, my Lagrangians and marginal cost and oh my god. Economic students? Anybody? Oh man. You know, they say it's ceteris paribus. What the hell is ceteris paribus, boss? Every 4 years governments change. What are you talking about? What is ceteris paribus? Some Latin thing. Even the Latin is more interested in Lionel Messi than ceteris paribus. What are we talking about? You know, anyway, so much for my love for economics. But however, economics teaches you some very, very basics. Demand rises, price rises. Supply falls, price rises. Same with ideas. You make it with an idea which has limited supply, the price will rise. Once you establish that, your demand will rise, price will rise. The moment there are more people like you and more ideas like you, price will fall. Okay? So then you need to move on to the next idea. If you want to grow, that is. Of course, there are lots of people who say, I want to do that and just that. And once I do that, I want to retire and buy an island in Greece. Islands in Greece are very cheap now. They're cheaper than a 1 BHK in Bombay. So that's okay. You tell somebody, I want to buy an island in Greece. That's my goal in life. It's not it's going to be cheap for some time. Till the point of time everybody has the same idea and you see, whatever, you know, Electronic City, all techies in Greece, you know, own one island and all that. So eventually, it's about that hunger. It's about whether you want to go in life. And once you've been there, then what do you do? Once you've achieved it, then what do you do? You know, which is my other problem with young achievers. What do they do? What do you do? It's a question, it's an insecurity I have. My first film is with Madhuri Dixit and Juhi Chawla. What do I do after this, man? Where do I go? But that's the thing. You should never have a paradigm. You should never have a standard set for yourself. You should just do what you want to do at that point of time. After, say, doing 7-8 films, I might want to become a chef. But I'm too lazy for that, so I just eat. But it should constantly grow. And I think we who take, I don't think making a film is a road less traveled. Everybody wants to do it. It's just that probably being an economist to a musician to a film director is not it's not a busy traffic like Bangalore on a Saturday morning. But that's it. I mean, it's a path that we all want to take, but somewhere we make these compromises because your father says do this, and we all have familial obligations because of which there are financial justifications that we need to make in our life, because of which sacrifices need to get made. And when those happen, it's good. Which is why we see, a lot of these mid-40s investment bankers who come up to me and say, Shamik, I want to write your next film with you, man. I was like, Kyun, kya ho gaya? No, I've done it all. So you've actually been doing something for something which you didn't want to do in the first place. You didn't want to be an investment banker. You wanted to do something else. You wanted to probably sing. My father is a much, much better singer than I am. He chose to sell batteries because he felt that would give him security. That would give his family security. And maybe in the 70s, he wasn't brave enough to take that step. To say, I'll manage her. I'm good enough to just be a singer. He's damn good, by the way. He sings now. It's fantastic. If he had taken my call, I would have. Anyway. But such are fathers. They disappear on their birthdays as well. So anyway. But we have that choice, You have that choice. I really wanted to quit Delhi School of Economics in the first month. I stayed on. Mistake. Shouldn't have done it. I stayed on and finished my degree there. I don't know why. Anyway. But we all go through these entire things. Should I quit now? I'm not liking it. Yeah. There are enough examples of what happens to people when they quit midway through a very successful, so-called successful phase in their lives. You know more examples than I do. They all become successes. Just listen to your heart. Listen to what you feel is right. Okay. Do whatever gives you happiness. There is nothing bigger than that. Like to bring in Adam Smith now. The concept of, again, economics has taught me certain things. They won't let me go. Basically, if you are happy, everything else around you will be happy. If you try to do something to make other people happy, but you are eventually, why am I doing this? It will eventually percolate outside. Eventually, that trade-off between the EMI and what you really want to do in life is going to catch up with you. And at the end of someday in the 40s, when you're suddenly had enough and you're sitting alone in your vice presidential cabin and you're thinking, acting करनी चाहिए थी. Don't let that happen. Don't ever let that happen. You want to invent something. You want to revolutionize the way we talk. You want to create, a solar panel fueled cell phone which does not need you to carry chargers like we all do today. Please do it now. Work towards it now. There are these brilliant institutes which allow you and give you that guidance and allow you to think freely. Do it now. But most importantly, unshackle your head. Just believe in yourself. Believe in your thoughts. Learn to think beyond the ordinary. Try and challenge every convention that is told to you every day. If you do that, you'll perhaps find happiness. Thank you. I'm good.